another process of worship, and this is the 16th chapter of the 8th canto, and we have verse 21. Savit yashyati te kamam,
savit yashyati te kamam,
savit hashyati te kamam,
savit hashyati te kamam,
haryadina nukampana,
haryadina nukampana,
haryadina nukampana,
haryadina nukampana,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
amodha bhagavat bhaktir,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
netareti matir mama,
netareti matir mama,
netareti matir mama,
netareti matir mama,
savit hasyati te kamam,
savit hashyati te kamam,
haryadina nukampana,
haryadina nukampana,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
netareti matir mama,
netareti matir mama,
Savityashyati te kamam,
savit hashyati te kamam, haryadina nukampana,
Amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir, netareti matir mama, savit hashyati te kamam, haryadina nukampana, amokha bhagavat bhaktir, netareti matir mama, savit hashyati te kamam, savit hashyati te kamam, haryadina nukampana,
haryadina nukampana,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
amokha bhagavat bhaktir,
netareti matir mama,
netareti matir mama. Okay. Sahe
sahe
Vasudev
Vasudev
Vihasyati
Vihasyati
will undoubtedly fulfill te your kaman desires Hariya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Dina, unto the poor, Anukampana, very merciful, Amoga, infallible, Bhagavat Bhakti, devotional service, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Na, not. Itara, anything but Bhagavat Bhakti. Iti, thus. Matir, opinion. Mama, my. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we have a translation and we have almost 2 pages full of purport. So brace yourself for listening. Just listen. it's a really nice book. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very merciful to the poor, will fulfill all your desires, for devotional service unto Him is infallible. Any method other than devotional service is useless. That is my opinion. So now we have Kashyapa Muni. Kashyapa Muni is speaking to his wife, and he is not just saying something, but he makes extra weight on it by saying, that is my opinion. Purport. There are three kinds of men who are called akarma, moksha-karma, and sarva-karma. One who tries to get liberation from this material world is called moksha-karma, and one who wants to enjoy this material world to its fullest extent is called sarva-karma, and one who has fulfilled all his desires and has no further material desires is called arkama. A bhakta has no desires. Savo padi vinirmuktam tatpade sarena nirmalam. He is purified and free from all material desires. The moksha-kami wants to achieve liberation by merging into the existence of the Supreme Brahman. And because of this desire to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is not yet pure. And since those who want liberation are impure, what to speak of the kamis, who have so many desires to fulfill? Nonetheless, the Shastras say, Akama savakamo va moksha kama udarati privena bhakti yogena jayata purusham para. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:3-10. Kashyapa Muni saw that his wife Aditi had some material desires for the welfare of her sons, but still he advised her to render devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, everyone, regardless of whether he is a karmi, a jnani, a yogi, or a bhakta, should inevitably take shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva and render transcendental loving service unto him, so that all his desires will be duly fulfilled. Krishna is Dina Anukampana. He is very merciful to everyone. Therefore, if one wants to fulfill his material desires, Krishna helps him. Of course, sometimes if a devotee is very sincere, the Lord, as a special favor to him, refuses to fulfill his material desires and directly blesses him with pure, unalloyed devotional service. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22:38-39, Krishna Kavya Amabhajya Majya Vishaya Shukha Amrita Chabi Vishaya Mage Ebada Murkya Ami Vidya E Murkya Vishaya Kedapa Svachitanya Svachararim Svacharana Rinta Dvija Vishaya Pulaya. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time want the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who give up ambrosia to drink poison. Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusionary material enjoyment. So this was the translation of the verse from CC. If a devotee maintains some material desires and at the same time very sincerely desires to engage at the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna may directly give him unalloyed devotional service and take away all his material desires and possessions. This is the Lord's special favor to his devotees. Otherwise, if one takes to Krishna's devotional service, but still has material desires to fulfill, he may become free from all material desires, as Dhruva Maharaj did. But this may take some time. However, if a very sincere devotee wants only Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna directly give him the position of Shuddha Bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. So the verse again. Sa vidhashakti te kaman haryatina nukampanaha amoga bhagavat bhaktiya netrareti matya mama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very merciful to the poor, will fulfill all your desires for devotional service unto him is infallible. Any method other than devotional service is useless. That is my opinion. Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Vena Bhutale Svayam Rupamara Swapadantikam Vanchakalvacharuvasya Kriva Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Kasyapa Muni, he is here.
Mikro ein bisschen runter und ein bisschen näher. Ja, okay.
So Kasyapa Muni, he is here. He's using quite strong words because he is saying any other method than devotional service is useless. So we may, actually there are so many so-called spiritual practices who are nowadays propagated all over the world. They always say it's a spiritual practice, or it's a spiritual journey. I just got a beautiful book from a person who had just passed away recently, Jane Goodall, and she wrote this book and she calls it a spiritual journey. So many people call something spiritual, which, I mean, I didn't read the book yet, so I will have to see if she was really on a spiritual journey. Maybe there's some spiritual journey in it. But many people call this spiritual, but if it's not connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's not actually, that's what Kashyapa Muni is saying, if it's not devotional service, it's useless. It's not going to give you that ultimate goal of bringing you to the personal direct service of the Supreme Lord. So this is a very strong, we are very strong on this. We don't say that all traditions are useless. We say they are useful as long as they bring one to the proper devotion to God. I always tell this story because it really touched me. Many years back, at 6 o'clock in the morning and at 6 o'clock in the evening, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I had to go and pick up milk outside the temple in Munich. And always there was a special place where they had a small altar of Maria. And it was on a crossroad where 3 roads were meeting, and it was completely surrounded just by field and nature. It was completely out. There was no house within the next 2-3 kilometers from this place where this altar of Maria was. And because I had to regularly go there, summer, winter, anytime, sometimes I would just stop and just pay my respect to Mother Mary. And it didn't matter whether it was winter or summer or raining or snow or whatever, there would always be some fresh flower, some candle burning, so everything was cleaned, there was no cobwebs from the spiders. So I was just thinking, this is actually a devotional service. Here's somebody who's worshipping with love and devotion. And Srila Prabhupada he's saying there's one place where Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, he says, don't think that Krishna is so stupid. And he uses this word, stupid. That if you call for him and you do not know that his name is Krishna, that he does not understand. So there is a certain energy which is this energy of bhakti. And bhakti is not a love between two lovers. That's not bhakti. Bhakti is exclusively the love for the Supreme, the love for Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada is saying, even if you don't know that his name is Krishna, but you call, oh my Lord, that love, it's still the energy of bhakti. So Krishna, he will hear it. He will say, oh, you're calling for me with so much intention, with so much love, with so much desire. Usually when we call like this, especially if we are not like in a spiritual process like a Krishna temple or something, but if we call like this for God, it's usually because we're in deep distress. It's because we're kind of like lost. We may be in we call it the dark night of the soul. That's a concept, yeah. That also means you may suffer on a material level, but you can also have, just deep confusion. Who am I? What is the meaning of my life? The dark night of the soul. So in that situation we may call with intensity for God, and then Krishna, he will hear. Even we do not know that Krishna is his name, or Rama is his name, or all the names, all the beautiful names we have for Krishna. But the intensity of calling for God, that is what Krishna, he hears. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada, he starts with a verse from the second canto, where he says, there are three kinds of people. Some they want liberation, some they want they have sarva karma, they have all desires. Some they have akarma, they have no desires, and some have moksha karma. So there are these three different categories of persons. But Srila Prabhupada is using this verse from the second canto, akarma sarva karma va moksha karma udarati trivena bhakti yogena jajeta purusham param. So he's saying it doesn't matter which category you are in. You have all desires, you have no desires, you have desires for liberation. You still use your intelligence to worship Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. So it doesn't really matter. All of us, we are in some kind of category. We may still have material desires. We may even have desire for liberation. That may even be, I just want to get free. This kind of desire. I want to be liberated. I want to just be free of everything. So we may be in different categories of or levels of desires. But it doesn't matter. Krishna says it doesn't matter. We just use our energy to render service onto Krishna, and then our whole consciousness will become purified. And we will become very, very satisfied. There's this, Srila Prabhupada, he's mentioning completely in the end of the purport, he's mentioning Dhruva Maharaj, and there is this very Dhruva Maharaj, we know from Dhruva Maharaj, we know his story. He actually, he became determined to take up a spiritual process because he was offended. He was offended. He was not allowed to climb on the lap of his father, and because the father, he had 2 wives, and the one wife, she thought, oh, I'm the favorite wife, and therefore I can control, and she said, you cannot go to the lap of your father, you should have taken birth from my womb, then you can sit on the lap of your father. First then. So she was very offensive to Dhruva. He had a right to his father, King Uttanapad, he had a right to sit on his lap. But the mother, she kind of like, no, it's not happening. Not under my watch, it's not happening. So then Dhruva Maharaj, he was very offended, he was very sad, he was 5 years old, so he was very young also. So he just left the palace and he went to the forest. And there he was determined to take up some spiritual practice. But his idea that he was angry also. He was hurt, he was angry, and in his mind he was saying, I'm gonna do some great austerity, and I'm gonna get a kingdom greater than my grandfather. I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna use the spiritual process to become so powerful that everybody will, understand I have succeeded even my father, even my grandfather. So his motive was not, I'm gonna go and become a pure devotee. That was not his motive. He was very much materially motivated when he went to the forest. And Narada Muni, he of course, Narada Muni, he always intervened when there are certain persons who has to understand different things. And actually Narada Muni says, just go back and settle the problem more or less. But he said, no, this instruction of you, it doesn't stand in my heart. I have to go for a spiritual process. And then he is in the forest and he is doing a very, very austere process. And while following his vows, he actually gets so powerful that the whole universe because he is reducing his breath even. First he reduces his eating like this, and then in the end he's even reducing his breath. And because the pulsing of the universe, it's like first it expands and then it subtracts again. But because Dhruva Maharaj's breath was so much under control, this expansion and dilation of the universe was disturbed because he was so powerful. And then Vishnu, he came to him. And after Dhruva Maharaj, after he's offering beautiful prayers and everything, but at one point he's speaking a very interesting verse, because he's saying how, and this verse is actually found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when he was benedicted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruva Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching for pieces of glass, but instead I have found the most valuable jewel. Therefore I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you." So this is a very beautiful realization. He was understanding, and this is the idea with these different kinds of desires, even desire for moksha or material desires. Krishna may fulfill them. And he was also installed as a king. He did get a kingdom greater than his father. At least in the beginning he got his father's kingdom, and later he got even more material position and power. But he understood very deeply. I was looking for broken pieces of glass. One morning, many years ago, in the Copenhagen temple, this verse was there in the morning class, and it was discussed how all the material, everything we can get within the material world, it's like broken pieces of glass. And when we think of broken pieces of glass, we don't think this is something valuable. But if you walk to the sea and you take these small pieces of glass who has been washed, they have been tumbled by the sand and the stones, and they have become very soft. These colorful glasses. So one morning I walked from Copenhagen temple. I walked down to the beach, and there were some children, and they were looking for broken pieces of glass. So this verse had been there in the morning. And I just walked down to the sea, and I was sitting and I was chanting. And I just sat and chanted, and there was some boy and a girl, they were playing on the seafront. And I was just sitting there and chanting. And then at one point in front of me there was a shadow, so the children, because I was sitting and chanting, very absorbed, and the children were looking at me. What are you doing? Then I kind of like explained to them. I showed my japa. I'm saying I'm doing some meditation. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and then we were chanting together. I was teaching. I was explaining how this is the name of God, and when you chant this, you can connect with God. And then they were chanting with me. You know, they were sweet, they were spontaneous, they just got engaged somehow. So then we were chanting some together, and then a car came, and they kind of like left, like abrupt, and ran, and they were running to their mother, and they were saying, I could just hear something, Krishna, Krishna, something. They were. We have learned some Krishna, Krishna thing, you know. So they ran to the mother, and then I looked at the stone just next to me. There was like a big flat stone, and there were all these pieces, beautiful small pieces of colored glass that they had been collecting. So they had collected all these pieces of glass, but then they found the Hare Krishna mantra, and they just left. They completely forgot about the glasses. So then I got this realization. It's there. Within every soul, we are looking for broken pieces of glass. We are trying to find enjoyment, satisfaction within the material world, but it is not going to satisfy us. It can, however opulent it may be, from the material point of view, it's not going to give us the satisfaction that the soul is always deeply longing for. So this is Dhruva Maharaj's realization, and as soon as it becomes our realization, we will become very, very happy. And this is not a material happiness which will end. It is actually the eternal happiness of the soul. And this is what Prabhupada, he wanted for us. He wanted it for all of us. Therefore he gave us the process of devotional service. So he has given us this whole process that we can absorb all our senses, our mind. I'm just thinking there was one more verse in the purport. Savu, I have to find it here. Savu Padi. Srila Prabhupada, that he does that sometimes. He mentioned a verse within the purport, just like one line, and there is no explanation of what that means. And he just expects that we are going to understand when he says Savapati Viniyamuktam, that we will understand how that means, but we don't usually. So, but this is here, Savapati Viniyamuktam Tat Pare Niyamalam Rishikesha Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchate. So this is a verse from the Narada Pancharacha, and Srila Prabhupada, he would often cite this verse. So this is a bhakti or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. So usually when we talk about side effects, it's because we take a medicine and the side effects is something which is bad. You know? But here there are two side effects, and these are very positive. So one is that one is free from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, all the senses are purified. So we use our senses in the service of Krishna. We use when we are doing the singing, we are doing the cleaning, we are doing all the things we're doing with the senses. We're using our senses, we're using our body. And when we do that, all of this are getting purified. That may not mean that the eyes become so purified that we can see again without glasses. That's not the point. It becomes purified that we can see what is real, what is reality. And also becomes purified in the sense that we can see our eyes become smeared with love. How does it go, this verse? From Brahma Samhita. How does it go?
Manjula-Mami.
Yes, so this is our eyes. When they become purified, they actually become smeared with the salt of love. So that's purified eyes. And purified hearing means we want to only hear things which are related to Krishna. Purified tasting, that's very easy. We just want to taste the tulsi leaves, and we want to taste the prasadam. Other things, they don't even have taste, and they're disgusting. We don't want to taste. We only want to taste what is offered to Krishna, and we get a taste for it. It really. One devotee, what was his name? I forgot. Who did the Radhayatra? Jayananda. Yeah, Jayananda. He would sit down and take prasadam with all the devotees. And then he would say, "Oh, this is the best prasadam I ever tasted. This is the very best prasadam I have ever tasted." And he would just ooze of satisfaction and happiness by accepting Krishna's prasadam. But next day when he would sit down and take prasadam, he would again feel the same. So this is actually when the senses are purified, then we can actually taste the prasadam. Otherwise we're just saying, oh, this is just some lasagna, we see it on the material level. But devotees like Jayananda, when they sit and accept prasadam, they really taste it because their senses are purified. And in this way, our smell will be purified. We smell the incense freshly offered. So this is, we engage the senses become purified. And the second side effect by engaging ourselves in devotional service is that we become free from all material designations. We don't identify ourselves anymore on the material level. When we perform devotional service, our only identification is I'm a servant. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. This is my identity. So this slowly, these designations, it may take some time before our designations fall away. But if we engage our senses in the devotional service of the Lord, then it will happen. It will bless us like that. So, that was everything for today. Maybe there are some comments or some questions to anything. I mean, this purport is a purport you have to read again and again, because it's just, Srila Prabhupada is really pushing the point that the only thing that will satisfy us is devotional service. Again, in different way, he's saying the same point, and this was Kashyapa Muni. He's saying, this is my opinion. So he's also making very strong statement on the power of devotional service, the process of devotional service, everything. It will satisfy everything in our life. So go back, and I recommend read the purport again in your own time.
538.
Yeah.
Brahma Samhita 538
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
tinged with the salve of love.
Can you read it for us?
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful. Das was 38. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shamasundar, Krishna himself, with the inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
Yes. So this is the sees in the heart.
Manjana Churita.
Bhakti Vilochanena Sadaisa Desu Vidayesu Vilokayam Yam Sham Shanarama Chintash Guna Swarupam Govindam Adipurusham. So these are verses, and this is also a process how we can engage our senses. We can, you sit and read. This is very full engagement. You open a book and you just create your own private space, sacred space. Invite Krishna. When you sit here, you're sitting directly in the personal company of Srila Prabhupada. You can invite Krishna, Prabhupada, you can invite them into your personal space and just spend time there. Just absorb yourself. And I promise you that if you spend time like that, you will become very satisfied. Very satisfied. You will find Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says these purports are my transcendental ecstasies. He's sharing himself in an endless way. And he just recently somebody was sharing one where Srila Prabhupada, his voice was almost breaking. He said, why don't you read my books? I have given you these books. Why are you not attracted to read my books? So he's almost crying and begging us to read his books. Why? Because we'll become completely satisfied if we take shelter. If we just, within our own, we have create in your home one space which is just your personal place where you sit and have that personal exchange. You will be completely satisfied. Whatever you have to do the rest of the day, that hour, that 2 hours, whatever time you can take, this is going to enrich you so much. and you will find these kinds of pearls. Sometimes when Srila Prabhupada speaks about himself, these are really special. Sometimes you see, he may say things like this, like Kashyapa Muni, he's saying, that is my opinion. He may voice something with a special weight, and you can feel, oh, Prabhupada, this is what he really wants. And you can feel his desire. And you can think, oh, actually, I can help, I can do some service to help fulfill this desire of Prabhupada. So we can connect like that. Okay, any questions? Any comments? Yes.
Thank you very much. You were talking about the purification of the senses, no? And the mind also, as I understood, is belonged to the senses, even if we follow this diet, no? Also only hearing about Krishna, tasting prasadam, or seeing the deities, the mind is still talking a lot of stories. No? The mind is not, how will this with the time, the mind also become purified? Or if I hear devotees who are already 30 years in Krishna consciousness, and when they chant, they still share that the mind always tries to intervene now, to disturb. No? How far is it for us normal persons possible to purify the mind, that the mind also only sich nur noch mit Krishna beschäftigt. Also das ist keine Abweichung mehr.
The mind is, in one sense, the mind is very submissive, in one sense, because it just go to that what you are attracted to. So whatever you are attracted to, the mind will go there. So, but if you can train your attraction, and therefore this process of sitting and filling up your cup with devotional images, you sit, you read Srila Prabhupada's book, you become completely filled, and your mind, you cannot read. Sometimes when you are not completely concentrated, you can feel how you're wandering while you're reading. But if you continue, then at one point you will just be there, and you completely can follow the line of points which are made philosophically. You're completely on the page. You understand what is described. You understand why Prabhupada is quoting this verse. You're completely there, and that means you have control of your mind. And if the mind is filled up with this transcendental knowledge and transcendental images, it can become very submissive. It just doesn't hanker for anything material, because it's controlled by the spiritual emotion. Spiritual emotion is very powerful. That's one of the spiritual emotion is longing, and that kind of spiritual emotion can control. It's like love. If you're in love with somebody, what do you think about? You think about that person all the time. So the mind can't become very submissive to transcendental knowledge, but it has to be satisfied with that. And you can only satisfy it by completely engaging, completely merging, completely. It's like you take a cloth and put it into dye. It completely changes its quality. You take it up again, it changes its quality. Now it has become saffron or whatever color you dye it. It's no longer blank. So the mind is more or less like an empty space. So whatever you put into it is going to be there. So if you put something really spiritual and transcendental and the love for Krishna, or you take association of devotees, you listen to classes of Prabhupada, you listen to whatever your spiritual master lectures like that, you're filling up that empty space with something transcendental, and it can become very submissive to that. very easily. You can even dream about something spiritual in the night if the mind is full like that. And we have that free will. That's a quality that we have. Sometimes, of course, we don't want to, and this and that, But that's deeper than the mind. The rebellion, it's much deeper than the mind. It's actually in the soul. That there is a resistance within the soul, because the soul also knows if I surrender completely, I have no more foot within the material world. That's lost, And Srila Prabhupada, he's actually using, there was one more verse, he is explaining a concept within this purport, which is found in a verse that he really liked to chant, and I actually had that verse also. I think that was your favorite verse, huh? Kamasita. When everybody brought a Bhagavatam verse, I think you brought this verse, Satenu Kampam Shukshamikṣamano Pujane Vatma Kritam Vipakam Vidvak Vapudya Vidada Namaste Jiveta Yo Mukti Sade Sadaya Bhak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So this, we're in the
Please read this again.
Huh?
Could you please read this again?
Yes, I can read it again. It's a verse that Srila Prabhupada, he very deeply said that when he read this verse, he could suddenly understand, why did his business break down? Why had he go through difficult situations? Why was things taken away from him? That's the concept that Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport we read, just that if Krishna really likes somebody, he may take away everything. So this verse says, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, his words and his body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So it's like actually the translation for word to word is the rightful heir. Like if you are in the purport here, it's from the 10th canto, so the purport says that if you are the proper son of a proper father, you only have to wait long enough that your father dies and you will inherit your father. So it has become your right. You just have to stay alive long enough. So the same principle of devotional service, you just have to stay alive in devotional service long enough and tolerate whatever comes to you and just continue on your process. Then you will be bestowed with all the blessings which are there within devotional service. It has become your rightful claim. It's like an inheritance. It comes to you. It's like it will come to you. It's your right. Just by being within the process, just by offering obeisances with love. In the verse it says you offer you offer sincerely with your words, with your body, and with your heart. So you keep on the process, and then it will become your rightful claim. It will become yours. something else? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for the lecture. I just want to clarify something. You were mentioning that the verse said any other method than devotional service is useless. And then you added, except if it brings you closer to the Supreme Lord. So my question is, when somebody does, for example, exercise in something for their material body to improve their health, but without thinking of God, it's useless. But when you do it with thinking, okay, then I can sit longer and chant Hare Krishna longer because I do these asanas or some exercise. I'm freshly, my body is healthy to worship Krishna. So it's not useless. Or
The whole concept is, as long as you think it's my body, then it's not. You have to understand, this is a gift given to me by the Lord, and I'm taking care of it because it's Krishna's body. I'm steward. It's a stewardship. I'm serving. So you take care of your body. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's saying, my house, I woke up one morning and my house has become your temple. My family is your family. So the idea of ownership, that's an illusion, because it's not our body. It's Krishna's body. It's the body of the spiritual master. You know, it's meant for the service. So if you take care of it, so that you can increase your service, that's actually what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to rent the body, because it's not yours. It's a property of a higher authority. So that's you know, we have to take care, but we have to especially take care because it's not ours. And with that consciousness, it's very easy to be more respectful. It's like we also say that you know, that's like one of the first things we say to people. You know, the tilak, it symbolizes that the body is like a temple for the soul, and if it's a temple for the soul, we don't fill it with garbage. Therefore, we take this beautiful prasada, which is sanctified food. No, we don't just put all kinds of garbage in the temple. No, we take care. So it's a temple for the soul, but we're only the steward. We're only the one, the caretaker. We're not the owner.
thank you.
But it's better to increase in sattva than to live in tamas. And that's the question a little bit. It's better people live in sattva.
Yes. Yes, but if it's a temple, which is a gift, then you will. If your consciousness is actually, it's not mine, it's Krishna's, and because I want to serve Krishna, I want to have the best facility, so I take care of this body.
But that's a result, perhaps, afterwards.
No, it's a change in the consciousness. The consciousness, if the consciousness changes, if you take care of your body because it's mine, you know, then you're not going to get the pure benefit. But if you take care of it because it's Krishna's, then actually even taking care of the body kind of like becomes devotional service.
I think what Prabhu means is that one step below this realization that, okay, my body doesn't belong to me, it belongs to Krishna, and therefore I have to take care of it. It's very, very difficult to get to that consciousness from Tamagun. So raise them first to sattva, so that their mind can actually have space To think, aha.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you know, that's like the argument we use when we say the body is like a temple for the soul, then therefore we don't put in garbage. That's one of the thing is therefore we don't eat meat.
Mhm.
You know, that's like, you know, so it's, you know, you have to, but if you associate with devotees, then slowly your consciousness will change, and also you will be more in the mode of goodness. Mm. If you come to a temple regularly, you know, we strive to have more goodness in the temple. So you will become more and more in the mode of goodness, and then you can also start, you know, taking care of the body, which is given to you as a gift, with the purpose that you can sit longer for chanting and like that. It's a good purpose, yes. So if the consciousness is not there, then it's really like a waste of time. It's not really a waste of time. Somebody, you know, even people within the material world, if they come a little bit more to the mode of goodness, realization may come. You know, there was one person, he was doing like a garden. He became like he wanted to be like self-sufficient gardener, and he wrote a book. It's called My Paradise. So he was becoming really devoted to living according to the laws of nature. In the beginning, he had animals, and they were being slaughtered. But because he kept doing more and more the mode of goodness, he came to the understanding, actually, I have no right. They have to live, they have the same right to live as me. So he stopped killing his animals. He couldn't do it anymore because he came to the mode of goodness just by doing the following. So the next realization may be there is actually a God, and everything belongs to God, and I will offer whatever I grow. So he will do the Thanksgiving ceremony, you know, like an offer. So slowly, this comes from the mode of goodness. But it comes very, very quickly if you have good association with devotees. You can even jump a little ahead of this mode of goodness just by having association. It can like jumpstart you.
That's the point. You can go step by step or with the escalator.
Yes. So if you open the door in the Hare Krishna temple, you go quite quick. It's accelerated mode of goodness. You can get at least your understanding. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Ki jai.
Manjula-Mami ki jai.